Hey, Forrest, baby. X6.
Yeah. Baby bitch, she thick, but her name coming.
Her name coming.
Yeah.
Her name coming.
Bad bitch, she thick, but her name coming. And she always causing problems, cause she love the drama. Yeah.
Go.
Bad bitch, said she thick, but her name karma. And she always causing problems, cause she love the drama. Little bitch, why you love the problems? Say you toxic, but you really just in love with drama. I been juggling about it more than I can take. Flip the money, flip the body, then I fled the stage. Chasing commas in my mom and in a different fan. All the bullshit in my city became a fan. Fucking hating ass niggas, they all chump change. When I'm whipping in the foreign and I spin game. Post up, finna sparkle blood, roll the runs. Gucci Louis all up on a bitch, bust it down. Fuckin' with a nigga like me, never let you down. You been fucking with a nigga, but he never around. All around, I've been all around. Traveling the states, I'm always up and out of town. Flip the bag and get the money, then I bust it down. I flip the bag and get the money, then I bust it down. Down. Yeah. Bad bitch, said she thick, but her name karma. And she always causing problems, cause she love the drama. Little bitch, why you love the problems? Say you toxic, but you really just in love with drama. I been juggling about it more than I can take. Flip the money, flip the body, then I fled the stage. Chasing commas in my mom and in a different fan. All the bullshit in my city became a fan.
Bella thick bitch, we know that's a fact. I don't never sweat her, she always come back. Shawty playing with me just to end up with a lane. Got a better bitch and I don't even know her name. Know the game to be real, ain't no playing with me. If she rolling with me, know that she the hottest in my city. Who you kidding? Teeing up, feel like the lid. Call me think the baddest, to be real, ain't no competition. We'll go around, we know that shit always come back. Only way to go, that's the paper router style. I've been getting money, give a fuck about no love. Rolling up my feelings, smoke 'em all up in a blunt.
Bad bitch, said she thick, but her name karma. And she always causing problems, cause she love the drama. Little bitch, why you love the problems? Say you toxic, but you really just in love with drama. I been juggling about it more than I can take. Flip the money, flip the body, then I fled the stage. Chasing commas in my mom and in a different fan. All the bullshit in my city became a fan.
Bad bitch, she thick, but her name coming. Little bitch, why you love the problems? I been juggling about it more than I can take. Chasing commas in my mom and in a different fan.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into DM Sports Talk. -1 this week. It is just going to be me and Matt this week. No Justin this week, but that's okay. We're basically, it was very unprofessional. You know, very last second. He obviously wasn't a fan of what the Colts did in the draft, so. Like, let me just miss this week here so I won't have to talk about it. But maybe we can give him a little bit of a break here. Maybe, just maybe, he was maybe searching for tickets on SeatGeek and decided, too good of an opportunity to pass up. Let me use the code DM Sports Talk, get $20 off my order, $50 or more on your first order. And he decided that was what he needed to do. And if that's the case, I think it's a somewhat smart decision for once.
What do you want to bet he doesn't like and subscribe?
Oh man, I'd bet my whole next paycheck on that one. That's an easy win.
Yeah. He's not liking and subscribing.
Nah.
But you can. Make sure you hit that subscribe.
Yeah,
and the bell. Click the bell so you know when we get on.
Hey.
We're live every week.
Yeah. Yeah. Let us know. Ring that bell, as they say.
Fuck.
That's what all the cool kids
This has
say,
been
right?
a long week, man. It's only been 6 days since we've been on here.
It has been, which is crazy because honestly though, but it feels like it's longer than what like our typical week to week 7 day, in
Dude,
between.
I'm so exhausted. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But
so obviously we were here live 4.5 hours for night one of the NFL draft, so we kind of know what our thoughts were on night one to an extent. But the next days 2 and 3 there, how were you feeling watching the draft unfold?
I mean, I watched I watched a lot of like, where is my mouse? What is going on? I watched a lot of like day 2. I watched some of day 3 as I was visiting with some family that came in from out of town. And so I kind of kept an eye on day 3. I didn't really pay that much attention to day 3.
Day 3 for me, obviously, I was dealing with the funeral in Illinois, but it was kind of like it's a lot of checking my phone on ESPN. Oh, okay, that's where that guy went. All right, where that guy went. Mainly, honestly, was keeping tabs of my team. And I'd kind of scroll through the rounds and see, this guy. I remember this guy. Where'd he go?
Right.
But
a lot of my stuff was like, where did Riley Moss go? Right. it was a lot of like trying to figure out where like players from Iowa went, because being an Iowa fan. So I spent a lot of time doing that.
I'm sure that you love the fact that the Iowa transfer to Purdue is now a Cincinnati Bengal, Charlie Jones. Because I think that just adds fuel to the fire of the team you already don't like, and now you have the potential to go watch that man in the NFL potentially next year. If we do make that trip to Cincinnati.
I'm making the trip. I can't wait to boo the fuck out of that guy.
Just Charlie Jones.
Just Charlie Jones. Just boo Charlie. The shit out of him. It just drives me nuts, bro.
Yeah. But ironically, though, I think the only Purdue's quarterback went in that 4th round as well to Vegas.
The Vikings took a quarterback.
Yeah, that was interesting. Who'd they snag?
Jaren Hall from BYU.
Yeah, honestly, my Mr. Irrelevant pick got dangerously close there for a bit. Max Duggan did go in the 7th round with about like 15 picks or so to go. It was close.
Mm-hmm. Because we're not going to do Weddle today, I don't think. I want to kind of keep this short because I've not really been home. I've been working quite a bit. So let's just jump in. Just kind of go through like each team, their draft picks, what number the pick was taken overall, and then what you would grade them. Okay?
Yeah.
And obviously I'll give them my grade as well. So first we'll just go alphabetical order. We'll go with the Arizona Cardinals. They had 9 draft picks over the course of the 3 days, so about 3 per day. Number 6 overall, they took offensive tackle Paris Johnson from Ohio State.
Right.
Number 41 overall, they took BJ Ojulari, the edge out of LSU. Yep. Number 72 overall, they took Garrett Williams, corner from Syracuse. Number 94, they took Michael Wilson, a wide receiver from Stanford. Number 122, they took John Gaines II, offensive guard from UCLA. Number 139, they took Clayton Tune, quarterback from Houston. 168, they took Owen Pappoe, linebacker from Auburn. And then number 180, they took, I'm going to fuck this up, but Kytrell Clark, corner from Louisville. And then number 213, they took Dante Stills, defensive tackle from West Virginia.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, in the first round, they traded back with Houston.
Right.
3 spots. And then I believe they moved back up in one of the rounds. So, they did trade down and gain some draft picks and still got their guy. Overall, I go probably B plus, maybe a B, maybe just a solid B.
I was right there with you. I was with B plus. I do love their first round pick though. And them trying to establish that offensive line. Because to me, I think this is a big prove it year for Kyler Murray, and they finally took an offensive lineman like he's been asking for the last couple of years. So they finally did it. It's so it should be a time to put up or shut up for them. But also too, I mean, I think they took a quarterback as well, which was interesting in the 5th round.
The big takeaway for me was rounds 2, 3, and 4. Taking BJ Ojulari, Garrett Williams, and Michael Wilson. I think all 3 of those positions are needs, right?
Yeah.
Edge rusher, BJ Ojulari to replace JJ Watt, Garrett Williams to replace Byron Murphy, who went to yours truly, and then Michael Wilson, wide receiver, for what we presume is going to lead to a DeAndre Hopkins trade.
Right.
But I think the only thing is, and the only reason I don't give them an A is Ojulari, Williams, and Wilson, all 3 have a history of getting hurt and being injured. So I would like to see them stay healthy. They stay healthy. They could all 9 be 52-man roster players. So, just depending on how that goes, if the 3 can stay healthy, I think it's solid.
Yeah, I agree. I'll just stick right there in the B grade. The next team we had was Austin Tesner's truly the Atlanta Falcons, who in the 1st round with the 8th pick took Bijan Robinson, running back out of Texas,
which was a shock.
Right. They then took in round 2, number 38, Matthew
Bergeron,
an offensive lineman from Syracuse. The number 75th pick, Zach Harrison, defensive line, Ohio State. The number 113th pick, Clark Phillips III, cornerback of Utah. Number 224, DeMarco Helms, safety out of Alabama. And then their last pick was right after that, number 225. Jovan Gwynn,
yep.
Offensive lineman, South Carolina. So that's who they took it there. I didn't really like their draft, honestly.
Honestly, out of 6 picks, 6 isn't a lot, right? Like,
right.
I don't really understand the Bijan Robinson pick.
Yeah, that one was
they had other needs that they could have filled. I don't think that running back was like a dire need. I thought maybe I thought a smarter pick for them would have been Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yeah, it almost seemed like we're just gonna take this guy so nobody else has the chance to get him.
I almost feel like they took him because they want to rely a little more on the run to take the pressure off of Desmond Ridder. But I also question they didn't take a wide receiver. Are you gonna stick with just Kyle Pitts and Drake London and that's it? Because you traded Calvin Ridley, you don't have him anymore. I just kind of and I think Olamide Zaccheaus, I think he left. I kind of just question, like, their receiving core is not great. And if you're trying to get a decision, if you're trying to make a decision based on if Desmond Ridder is going to be your franchise guy, then I feel like you need to surround him with talent. That he can not so that he gets carried, but so that he has a fair opportunity is what we'll say to be a starter and to be able to be evaluated in that. And so for me personally, I think Bergeron trading up to get Matthew Bergeron is great. It's a need. They needed it. Bijan, still, great pick, but he's it's a very questionable pick based on needs. I almost feel like they probably just went best player available in that situation, and Bijan was sitting there. So I don't know how Helms will play. Coming from Bama, I'm not sure. I don't really know about Gwynn either. Like I never really watched South Carolina, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I think Clark Phillips has a good chance of being a starter. Especially if he plays in like the slot. I think as a slot receiver, he might be pretty solid. Or a slot corner. Sorry, slot corner. And other than that, they have to go get some wide receivers. If they don't, this grade is probably a C. I mean, I'm not a big fan of 3 of the 6, mainly because you didn't go and get a wide receiver, especially because, I mean, at 75, there was still wide receiver talent sitting there, and you didn't take anybody. So you're not really helping Desmond Ridder by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I agree.
So-
I'm right there with you. Yeah, I had it at C as well. There was nothing there that jumped off the board at me, and I mean, I expect them to be right back in a similar position next year.
Yep. So then we go to Baltimore, to the Ravens, and their nasty wide receiving core. Which this is a perfect example, right? Like you're the Falcons were a while before Baltimore. So Baltimore took at number 22 overall, first round. They took Zay Flowers, wide receiver from Boston College. We all know he's the second. He was the second, maybe the third best wide receiver in the draft class. I think. Overall, I don't understand the pick, because you just got Odell. So why do you go and get Rashad Bateman? Why do you have Rashad Bateman? You go get Odell, and then again,
but how long is Odell going to be?
But you got to.
Is he there for a year or two?
But, I think you also have to look at it as eventually, even though they just re-signed Lamar, they're going to have to rebuild at some point in the near future. It's not going to be like they're not young, right? Like, and they're always hurt. So I mean, this team always battles injuries. So Zay Flowers, great pick because of who it is and what he can do. I think there's other things that other places they could have gone, but I think Flowers is a good pick, especially trying to do what they're going to do. They're just going to try and outscore everybody, which is obviously that's the goal of the game, but I think that they're going to rely heavily on their offense. Clemson, or at number 86, Clemson linebacker Trenton Simpson. Number 124, Tavius Robinson, edge from Mississippi. Number 157, Q Blue Kelly. I think that's how you say his name. I don't fucking know. Stanford corner.
Luck on the next.
Yeah. Number 199, they took Oregon offensive tackle Mala Sala. I don't know how. I'm not even gonna try that. And then number 229, they took USC's offensive guard Andrew Voorhees. Interesting that they went 2 offensive linemen. Maybe they're gonna try and protect Lamar. I don't know.
I don't blame them if that was the goal there, especially with the amount of money that you obviously just shelved.
I think Simpson in the 3rd round is a great pick. He's got really good closing speed. He can play in or outside. So he's pretty versatile in where you can put him. Other than that, not great. I know Voorhees tore his ACL last year, and that's why he slid. Because he's the one that tore his ACL at the combine. So I think, depending on how he comes back, he could be great, because I think that he was going to be like a 3rd rounder had he not torn his ACL.
Yeah.
So their 7th round pick may not play this year, but they can sign him and then put him on the uninjured reserve, and then they don't have to worry about their 53-man roster spot. Should be a solid pick in round 7. That's real good value.
Yeah. Honestly, I think from what I was reading up on too, there's a lot of people that slid in this draft. Like there was I felt like there was a lot of trading back with teams this year.
Yep.
It was very interesting on how that was going.
Yep.
Obviously, we'll get to the one team that decided that they needed to trade back like 39 billion times, but so many times.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, though, yeah, I give Baltimore a probably go B-.
Yeah.
I think that's how I feel. Yeah, I mean, it seems they're gonna, this team obviously it's very simple that it goes as far as Lamar will take them. So it seems that they definitely invested in that with the seems limited amount of picks that they had this year compared to some teams, so they kind of just and then shore up the defense a little bit, and see where they can go from there. But I give it a B minus.
Okay, on to the Bills.
The Buffalo Bills. So in the first round, they took the tight end, the presumed everybody had ranked best tight end in the draft at number 25, Dalton Kincaid, tight end out of Utah,
sitting there at 25.
Yeah, it is for a while. And then round 2, number 59, they took Osiris Torrance, offensive lineman of Florida. Number 91, they took Dorian Williams, linebacker from Tulane, which makes sense. They did lose some linebackers in free agency. Then at number 150, they get Justin Shorter, wide receiver out of Florida. Number 230, they get Nick Broker, offensive lineman in Mississippi. And number 252, they get cornerback Alex Austin out of Oregon State. So I mean, I think Buffalo's draft to me just looked pretty straightforward. Just get a little bit online help there in round 7. I honestly think I love the value. Obviously, they got with the pick that Dalton was still sitting there at 25. But also in round 2 with Osiris Torrance still sitting there.
He was a number 1. He was a first rounder.
Yeah, that's fantastic value to get him at number 59.
Yeah.
So I mean, it looks like they loaded up a little that offense. We'll kind of see how it pans out for them. I still think Buffalo might still be one really good wide receiver 2 away, as far as making a deep postseason run. It seems, but
Buffalo's Josh. They're a quarterback away. Let's be honest.
Anywho, what do you grade this draft from Buffalo?
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
By any means. I just think that there's more that they could have done. I think. I mean, they took a good mix of offense and defense. I don't like the Justin Shorter pick. I think Justin Shorter is just subpar. He should have been an undrafted free agent. I think the reason that Justin Shorter got drafted is because of Anthony Richardson. But I mean, overall, probably a C.
Honestly, I was gonna jump up to B just from the value that they got, and it just seems that every pick it was a need that.
Yeah, but Alex Austin he's not making the roster. He's probably a practice squad guy. Nick Broker, I mean, I don't even know much about him because I don't really watch much Mississippi football. Dorian Williams, solid pick, but why are you picking a linebacker? Like, you have solid linebackers. You have Matt Milano, you have Von Miller. Like, you don't need another wide receiver, right? Like, it just doesn't make much sense.
Yeah. Again, though, too, I mean, I think that bounces back though to the fact of like, how many more years do you realistically see Von have left?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't think that you. I don't think that that's one of those. I don't think that like a linebacker is one of those positions that you're going to draft a year or 2 out. Like, it's just not one that you're like, oh well, Von doesn't have much time left. So let's take a linebacker now so that, and if you're going to take a linebacker, right, like, why do you not just pass on Dalton Kincaid, which you don't need a tight end? Why would you pass on like Jack Campbell or, one of the top linebackers in this class rather than waiting until pick 91 to get a maybe starter, probably 53 man? Probably not. It's probably a rotation guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stick with my grade at B.
C+.
All right, Matt, take us into the next team.
Oh, who we got? Oh, Carolina Panthers. Obviously traded up to number 1 with the Chicago Bears. They got Bryce
Good
Young,
guy.
number 1 overall. Jonathan Mingo, number 39 overall, Mississippi wide receiver. DJ Johnson, number 80 overall, from Oregon. Chandler Zavala, number 114 overall from NC State. And Jamie Robinson, number 145 overall, defensive back from Florida State. Overall, probably grade B-. Outside of Bryce Young and Jonathan Mingo, subpar. It's just not. It's not great.
I was rocking right there at B. I mean, obviously, they got what they were after in the draft, most importantly. But,
yeah. I like that they.
I feel like they probably had a better free agency though than they had draft.
What I don't understand, and I guess outside of like the reason that they traded up, which we all knew Bryce Young was going number 1. Matt Corral didn't look that bad last year. And I think the problem with teams is they're impatient, right? Like even after getting Bryce Young and Adam Thielen, they're not going to contend.
Yeah.
They're not the best team in that division.
Mm-hmm.
Which
so already a weak division.
Right, yeah, awful.
Awful. But
I just don't understand. Like they only had 2 Saturday picks. So they only had 2 picks on the longest day of the draft. And that's when you find like your diamonds in the rough and your that's when you find the guys, right? Like so for me personally, I see. It's not great.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything but give them a starting quarterback and another wide receiver. That's all they got.
Yeah. Fair enough. The next one in the draft was the Chicago Bears.
Hated their first round pick.
The number 10 pick, they take Darnell Wright, offensive tackle of Tennessee. Round 2 pick 53, they take Gervin Dexter Sr. Gervin, defensive tackle from Florida. Number 56, they take Tyreek Stevenson, cornerback Miami.
I thought for sure you were going to pronounce his name Tyreek.
Nope. I got it. I'm in there a little bit. Okay. Number 64, they take Zach Pickens, defensive line, South Carolina. Number 115, they take Roshan Johnson, running back from Texas. Number 133,
Boston?
Tyler Scott, wide receiver from Cincinnati. Number 148, Noah Sewell, linebacker out of Oregon. Number 165, they take Terrell Smith, cornerback Minnesota. Number 218, they take Travis Ball, defensive tackle of Kennesaw State. Ball?
Bell.
I said Ball.
Bell.
That's pronounced Bell?
That's an E, not an A, bro. Read.
No. Bleacher Report has it as an A.
Well, Bleacher Report's wrong.
Sorry. Travis Bell. And number 258, Kendall Williamson, defensive back from Stanford. So, obviously they addressed the need with their first round pick of offensive tackle. Was it the best one available? Time will tell. Overall, though, they just had a slew of picks. I do think they got great value at Tyler Round. Just to kind of, he doesn't have to come in, and be something crazy off the rip. They've obviously improved their wide receiving core over the offseason. But I think he has a good chance to kind of come in and be a solid player for them.
All right, so what you got him?
I have the Bears at a B+.
I've got him at an A. I think solid, man. Like 10 picks.
Yeah.
All over the place. Offensive lineman, corner, defensive tackle, wide receiver, running back, linebacker, corner, safety. Like you got everything, and any one of these guys could start because the Bears suck ass.
mean, fair. I mean,
So
that's
I mean,
one thing with
I
the
think
rebuild. You know,
Yep.
get a lot of draft
that's
picks.
exactly what you do in a rebuild because one of these guys, like Noah Sewell, Terrell Smith, Travis Bell, Kendall Williamson, like one of those guys could be an Adam Thielen, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. Like, I mean, he could be. So solid A.
Fair.
Just kind of speed up a little bit because we're already a half hour in and we still have a long way to go. So the Bengals took Miles Murphy in order, round 1 and on. Miles Murphy, DJ Turner II, Jordan Battle, Charlie Jones, lol, Chase Brown, Andre Iosivas, I don't know how to say that. Brad Robbins and DJ Ivy. I give him a B+. Jordan Battle's a fucking steal. In the 3rd round, that's glorious. 4th round, I think that's the start of the 4th or something. That's glorious. That is a great pick. I think he starts for them at some point. Probably maybe not this year, but I think he'll start. He'll be solid.
Yeah, I'm giving them right there a solid B+. I mean, I think obviously they addressed their needs very well. I mean, they lost Jesse Bates in the offseason. So they definitely shored up that secondary with some solid picks in there. And the running back pick there after they lost what was his name? The backup Piron. They lost Piron
and maybe even Joe Mixon.
And maybe Joe Mixon made sense that they at least take a running back in this draft. I'm gonna give them a B+. Right, roll from there. The next team we had was the Cleveland Brownies, who did not have a pick until the 3rd round. Cedric Tillman, wide receiver. Siyakai Akai, defensive line Baylor. DeJuan Jones, offensive tackle. Isaiah McGuire, defensive line. Dorian Thompson Robinson, QB. Cameron Mitchell, cornerback, and Luke Wepler, offensive line. Their draft felt like it was pretty straightforward. The quarterback pick was a little bit weird to me, but
it's interesting to have DTR because if you talk to like diehard like college fans, they all like DTR. They like DTR a lot. Like Viking fans were like, "Oh, if we can get DTR late, like that'd be awesome." And he never slid to us. Overall, probably a C+ ish.
Yeah, I'm right there. Yeah,
it's
just a solid C.
I mean, not using some of these picks to trade up and try and get a higher pick, questionable.
Yeah.
Then we go to America's Shit Show, and the Cowgirls. They got Maisie Smith, 1st round, Michigan defensive tackle. Luke Schoonmaker, Michigan tight end. DeMarvion Overshawn, which is Texas linebacker. Viliami Fehoko Jr., San Jose State. Asim Richards, North Carolina, offensive tackle. Eric Scott Jr., Southern Mississippi corner. Deuce Vaughn, running back, Kansas State. And Jalen Brooks, wide receiver, South Carolina, B-. I mean, they took a little too many Michigan players for my liking because fuck the Wolverines. But I think DeMarvion is a good pick. I think Maisie Smith comes in and I mean, with Maisie Smith with just their defense in general is great. So I think overall probably like a B-.
Yeah, I was rocking right in there with a B-. But I mean, solid draft overall.
Okay, so we're gonna skip a couple because some of these just aren't worthy.
Well, the Broncos are quick, so
yeah. Well.
So they take Marvin Mims Jr., wide receiver, Sanders linebacker, Riley Moss, cornerback, Iowa, J.L. Skinner, safety, Boise State, and Alex Forsyth, center from Oregon. Quick and easy draft for them. They get their wide receiver. They get a stud cornerback. They get in the 7th round. They potentially get some O-line help for Russell Wilson. Solid B.
Yeah, B+. That's solid.
Yep.
And they took a Hawkeye. Anybody who takes a Hawkeye, they get a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, you want to hit the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, it's not
It
good.
was some Iowa heavy.
It's not good. Jahmyr Gibbs, 12th overall.
Yeah, it was questionable.
It was awful. That's a reach and a half. Jack Campbell, linebacker, Iowa. Sam Laporta, tight end, Iowa. Brian Branch, defensive back, Alabama. Hendon Hooker, quarterback, Tennessee. Broderick Martin, defensive tackle, Western Kentucky. Colby Sorsdahl, offensive guard, William & Mary. And Antoine Green, wide receiver, North Carolina. Antoine Green, awful. Colby Sorsdale, awful. Broderick Martin, Hendon Hooker, questionable, depending on his return from an ACL. But even then, I don't think that he's going to even remotely challenge Jared Goff. Brian Branch, steal. Brian Branch is a steal at number 45.
Yep.
Sam Laporta, Jack Campbell, my Hawkeye boys. I'll probably get their jerseys because Hawkeye boys. Jahmyr Gibbs this is probably the worst pick in the draft.
Yeah,
that pick is Christian Ponder. It's awful. It's awful. It's a reach, and you have other needs. Than a running back. I just don't. I mean, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Yeah. I mean, Gibbs can he's gonna start. I just don't. I don't understand. I don't get it. So I mean, C-. I mean, it's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe okay. I'll go from a C- to a C because they have Hawkeyes. So you'll go half a grade up. Like you got two Hawkeyes back to back in the first and second round. I'll give you a C.
Yeah. Right,
and then the
Packers and their slew of picks.
Yeah, fuck.
Jesus. But in the first round, they take Lucas Van Ness, edge of Iowa.
A+ pick. A+ pick.
42, Luke Musgrave, tight end. Jaden Reed in the second round, wide receiver, Michigan State. And then in the third round, they felt the need to take another tight end, Tucker Kraft. They then take Kobe Woodson, defensive fourth round. Same thing. In the fifth round, they take Sean Clifford, QB, to replace Jordan Love already.
Blows balls.
And 159, they take Dontavion Wicks, wide receiver, Virginia. Then they take Carl Brooks, defensive line. They then take Anders Carlson, kicker. Then they take Carrington Valentine, back Kentucky. Then they take Lou Nickel, third, running back, Central Michigan. Then they take Anthony Johnson Jr., safety, Iowa State. Cyclones suck. Then they take Grant Boys, wide receiver, Charlotte.
Overall, best pick, Lucas Van Ness. Not only because he's a Hawkeye, but because the dude's just a stud. Worst pick,
Sean Clifford.
Sean Clifford's awful. He's awful. I think Dontavion Wicks has a chance to start.
Yeah.
Grant Dubois, probably not. I mean, value. I mean, a quantity of picks, great. Value of that quantity, B-.
Yeah, I was gonna go B.
We'll go B because you have a Hawkeye. So you get you get the upgrade. So B-. If you don't take Lucas Van Ness, you drop to a C because that's just awful.
No. You're mad. Hit them Texans.
All right, so we're gonna go to the Texans, the Colts, and then we'll skip the Jaguars because they have a trillion picks. And then we'll probably just go. I mean, because we're 40 minutes in, we'll probably just touch on like first rounds, and then the Vikings, which the Vikings only had 6 picks. Because I know you'll probably talk about the Colts a little bit. I'll talk about the Vikings a little bit. And we'll move on with our day. Okay, so the Houston Texans, CJ Stroud, number 2 overall. Then they make a ridiculous, crazy, no one saw it coming pick. Trade to go up to number 3 and take Will Anderson Jr. And then number 62 overall, they get Juice Scruggs. Number 69, Tank Dell. 109, Dylan Horton. 167, Henry To'oto'oto. I don't know how to say that, but whatever. 201, Jarrett Patterson. 205 Xavier Hutchinson, and then 248 Brandon Hill. First round A+. I mean those two.
Honestly, yeah, I have their overall drafted an A.
Their overall draft probably a B+.
Fantastic.
I mean, the overall B+. I don't like the Jarrett Patterson pick because he's from Notre Dame and fuck the Irish.
Yeah.
I don't like Xavier Hutchinson because Iowa State and fuck the Cyclones.
So what you're saying is that the opposite effect of drafting Iowa players, you go against your school, you drop down half grades.
Bingo.
Got it.
So a B-. I mean, not bad.
I mean, I'm slopping them right in there with an A. So
I don't think it was as good as
they're
Chicago.
going to win the AFC South now. So
no, they're not.
All right. So the Indianapolis Colts at number 4, they take their guy Anthony Richardson back. They then take they trade back like 7 billion times. So we won't get into that. But round 2, they take Julius Brents, cornerback, Kansas State. Third round, they take Josh Downs, wide receiver, North Carolina. They then take Blake Freeland, offensive tackle, BYU. They take a guy from Northwestern who plays defensive line. You guys can figure out that name, unless Matt has any clue how to say that.
Editomiwa?
Yeah, that guy.
Editomiwa.
Yeah, What's up with guys on defensive line having like the wildest names?
I don't know, big old. I can't say that.
Then they take Darius Rush, cornerback from South Carolina. They then take Daniel Scott, safety from California. They then take Will Mallory, tight end from Miami. They then take Evan Hull, running back, Northwestern. Titus Leo, edge from Wagner. Jalen Jones, cornerback, Texas A&M, and Witt, offensive tackle, Northern Michigan in the 7th round.
Okay. First round pick, A. A-, really, because the one thing about Anthony Richardson is he is a project. I don't know that he's gonna be great off the rip. I think he's more of like a Justin Fields probably type project, like not as bad as. No, I mean he's not a running back playing quarterback, so like that's fine. The thing that I worry about Anthony Richardson is, I worry about his ability to read the defense. So I mean, and that's the same question I have about Justin Fields is like, can you sit in the pocket when need be? Right.
I mean, how fast does he just immediately start to run?
Right.
Right.
After the first round, C-.
See, I
Julius Brents is solid. Josh Downs, small speedy receiver. You don't need that.
I mean, honestly,
you
though,
don't.
When you look at the wide receiving core though on the team, right, a bunch of bigger guys. I don't hate the idea of having a smaller speedster on the team.
You have
who can try and take the top off the defense.
Alec Pierce is tiny.
Michael Pittman, he's like 6'4".
He's 6'4" is tiny for a receiver. Just because he's big, like tall, doesn't mean he's like not. Doesn't mean he's big.
So watching the team last year, right? This is how they play. Alec Pierce is our best downfield receiver. Go up and get the ball. Michael Pittman plays best in the slot. Drafting a guy who can try and take the top off the defense, I don't mind. Will he pan out? I don't know, but I don't mind the pick. I think the Colts did a good job of getting a lot of value in those later rounds. I mean, for God's sakes, they had four in the 5th round alone. You know, I mean, I like their draft overall. And we all know that the only thing Chris Ballard is good at is drafting. So
I mean, there's 3 wide
draft
receivers.
is the only thing that keeps his job every year.
There's 4 wide receivers I would have taken over Josh Downs.
That were still on the board at that time.
Yes.
Okay.
And I mean, you have to get a better receiving core. Like your receiving core's awful. Michael Pittman sucks. He's terrible. So yeah, overall probably like a B-.
I have him right there as an A.
Yeah, of course you do. It's your team.
I mean,
What's your team?
I wouldn't say they had the best draft.
Well, that's what you're saying in an A.
I'm not saying
You're saying it's
I only have one team that had an A+ draft for me.
yeah, but you're saying would you give the Lions a B- or a B?
I think I gave them a B. Yeah.
Okay, but you're saying that the Colts drafted better?
Yeah.
No,
I personally think so.
that's because they're your team.
No, that's because they drafted Iowa guys. Get over yourself.
No. Okay, no. But they got Brian Branch at 45.
Okay.
They drafted needs. They needed a tight end. They got Sam Laporta. Looking away from the Iowa thing, right? Look away from the Iowa thing.
Needed a quarterback. Got a quarterback. Needed cornerbacks. Got cornerbacks.
But you're not getting. But you got the position.
Line help.
Yes, you got the position, but you didn't get starters at that position. You need wide receivers. You did not get a starter at wide receiver. Josh Downs not going to be a starter. He's literally going to be Jalen Reagor. Guarantee you.
Well, that might be a stretch.
Guarantee you.
Might be a stretch.
Guaranteed. I'm just saying, like, I get that it's your team, but Detroit drafted better than Indianapolis.
And I disagree. That's fine. We can disagree.
It's crazy.
Okay.
It's crazy.
All right. That's fine. Keep it moving.
Okay. Well, first rounds, because I don't have time. We have like 10 minutes. The Jaguars didn't have well, yeah, they did. They took Anton Harrison. I don't think they had any good picks. I don't think they had any like solid picks, honestly. Probably one of the worst drafts. Yeah. Okay. C.
Yeah.
Chiefs. Felix Anutki Uzoma, I think.
Yeah.
If I were them, I would have traded back. Fuck that. I wouldn't have taken that. But whatever. They need an edge rusher, so I mean, he has potential.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I
don't think they did anything crazy.
The Raiders took Tyree Wilson, number 7 overall. Solid pick. Think he's gonna be fine. They took Michael Mayer in the second round and Aiden O'Connell at 135. That's awful. Michael Mayer sucks. I can't wait for them to expect him.
I disagree.
It's because it's your team. Look at the shirt you're wearing.
No, he doesn't. Michael Mayer doesn't suck.
You wait till he plays real teams.
I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but I think he's a very solid tight end at the NFL.
I draft him in your fantasy league then. Draft him in the fantasy league.
Bet.
Like you have to draft him when all the other tight ends start going. Bet. Like when everyone starts taking tight ends, that needs to be your first tight end. Michael Mayer.
Yeah, I'll get him in the sleeper league.
It's fucking awful.
No.
I'm talking like in the regular league, not the dynasty. The regular, regular.
Yeah,
shit.
No, because Travis Kelce is going to go.
No, but you don't have to take him in the first round. You don't have to take him in the first round. Take him in like the fourth, fifth.
You acted like I just said Michael Mayer is going to be a superstar. I said that
he's not good.
NFL level.
He's not good. He played nobody.
Very much so disagree.
Very
much so disagree.
And that's fine. But they don't play anybody. Notre Dame does not play any fucking buddy. Anybody. Play nobody. And your shirt, wearing this Notre Dame shit, the two teams that you stuck up for today have been your teams.
No, I've stood up for other dudes too.
Not today, you haven't. So the Chargers get Quentin Johnston, number 21 overall. I'm a little sad because I really wanted him to fall to the Vikings. It didn't happen. It's okay. Not good. The rest of their draft was not good. Not good. They took Max. They took Max Duggan, though, bro.
Baller.
The
Max
Rams
Duggan alone makes it an A- draft for me. So
the Rams didn't even have a pick till number 36. So we'll just skip them because
Yeah, I mean they're rebuilding. They took Stetson Bennett.
the Dolphins are cheaters. So
Uh-huh.
we'll just keep going. Okay, so then we get to my boys. 23 overall, the Vikings take wide receiver Jordan Addison from USC. Number 102, Mekhi Blackman, defensive back, USC. Number 134, Jay Ward, defensive back, LSU. 141, Jacqueline Roy, defensive tackle, LSU. Number 164, Jaron Hall, BYU quarterback. And number 222, Dwayne McBride, running back, UAB. What do you got?
I mean, overall, I love their first round pick. Especially at that point, all the wide receivers started to go off the board. I think it was like 4 straight picks of wide receivers, if I'm not mistaken, in the first round. Jordan Addison fell in their lap. Will it be another situation of, like the Justin Jefferson situation, where a couple of these teams, personally, I had Jordan Addison ahead of Quentin Johnson.
Me too.
Gonna be one of these situations, where the team that took Quentin Johnson is going to regret the fact that they passed on Jordan Addison. I think so. Overall, though, I think they got good value at where they got their guys at. There, obviously, they didn't have a second pick. They went and got back in the 3rd round to replace the Byron Murphy and Patrick Peterson both. They got Byron Murphy, but they lost Patrick Peterson. That's what it was. So they bring him in. The quarterback pick, I didn't really understand why.
Quarterback?
Yeah.
More or less to be 3rd on the depth chart.
I get, yeah.
It's more or less to be 3rd on the depth chart
option.
and more to be 3rd on the depth chart, and then also like for Kevin O'Connell to start kind of molding him into what he wants to see if he can do it. Because in reality at pick 164, how much do you really give up? You're not really giving up anything. At 164, you're not really giving up much to go and get a quarterback that may or may not have the ability to be a Tom Brady, an Aaron Rodgers, a late quarterback pick who ends up being very, very good. So they're going to sit him behind Kirk, let him learn from Kirk. I think Jaron Hall has potential. He's small. So a little tiny, not too sure about that. Really good velocity, great accuracy. I don't know that he'll be the guy, but I think it's a good solid choice to make the pick.
Yeah.
Dwayne McBride at 222. I had him going 2 rounds earlier. Like, he was not pick 222 for me. Like, he was if the Vikings are going to trade Dalvin Cook, it'll be Alexander Mattison and Dwayne McBride. Because I think Dwayne McBride is solid. He's solid. There might be a reason that he slid that maybe hasn't come out yet, or we don't know. But I think Dwayne McBride will be solid. Jacqueline Roy, defensive tackle. I think it's big because we did lose a couple big guys in the middle. I think all of these guys will all of these guys minus Jaron Hall will at least start 1 game this year. All of them.
Do you think Dwayne McBride will start a game?
Yes. I think Dwayne McBride will start a game. And that'll be if we trade Dalvin. If we don't trade Dalvin, then it'll be everybody but Jaron Hall and Dwayne McBride. I think Dwayne McBride will be kind of like a project running back where we kind of sit him. Maybe he'll help out on special teams or something. But I think Jacqueline Roy starts at defensive tackle at least 1 game. Jay Ward is an immediate starter. Mekhi Blackman, immediate corner. And Jordan Addison is the perfect pair with Justin Jefferson, because with Jordan Addison, we're not asking him to go in and get 140 targets a year, and we're not asking a lot. We're asking you to create separation. We're asking you to be Adam Thielen prior to last year's Adam Thielen, because last year's Adam Thielen was not good.
Right. It'll also be interesting though to see though if KJ Osborne takes that next step too.
Which would be great, right? So if you have KJ, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, I mean that's the offense.
I mean,
is
that's
how,
why I love that pick. Addison has absolutely no pressure on.
Yeah, exactly.
Round pick. He probably has almost maybe the least amount of pressure out of the first round picks.
Yes.
Besides Gibbs. Gibbs got taken way too high. The expectation wise from their fan base is going to be probably very stupid.
Yes.
But other than him, because he has to try and justify that wild pick for the line.
Right.
But otherwise, though, I mean, Addison just, he just gets to go out there.
I think he just gets to go out there and ball. He gets to go out there and do what he needs to do. I think he can create. Everyone's talking about his 4.9 40. They're talking about his size. He's not a very big guy, but we don't need a big guy. We have Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson's our big guy. KJ Osborne, while not a number 2, maybe number 3, maybe Jordan Addison slides into that number 2. I think Jordan Addison will play better outside than playing in the slot. I think you put JJ and KJ outside, and then Jordan Addison at slot, TJ Hawkinson at tight end. I mean, it's almost like the Vikings were like, look, we're going to go wide receiver right here because we know our defense is a project. We're just going to score more points than you. And we're going, when we get the lead, we're going to hold the ball. That's why we went and got Dwayne McBride. And we got, obviously we have Dalvin, we have Alexander Madison. I think we're going to do a lot of running when we need to. I think we'll pass when we have to in crucial game situations, specifically in the second half. If we're leading at halftime or we're leading in the third quarter, you'll see exactly what Washington did to Philadelphia last year is what you will see from the Vikings this year, because we'll be able to do that. So I think that that's what the Vikings plan is. I think that they know that the defense is a project. They're not going to try and have our defense be what it was 5 years ago when it was the number 1 defense in the league in every statistical category, and it was just shut down everybody. I think that they're going to be let's go score points, be consistent on offense, and just hold on to the ball, because sometimes the best defense is offense.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, and this is outside of them being my team. Even if this was like the Jaguars picks or anybody else, I got A- ish.
I had them at an A-. So
I think it's A-. I think it's just solid all around as far as quality of picks, addressing needs, crucial needs. I think there's the Dwayne McBride pick was glorious. If he ends up starting a game, if all of these guys start one game, it immediately takes it from an A- to an A, because not everybody gets 5 out of 6 draft picks starting a game their rookie year. And then if Jaren Hall ends up panning out, and if these guys all turn into like solid NFL players, I don't know, they don't have to be all pros or Pro Bowlers or any of that. I just think that if all of these guys play and they're solid, and the Vikings make a deeper run this year than they did last year, and these guys are like heavy contributors to that, then it goes to an A+, because that's all you're asking from your draft.
Fair enough. Do you want to touch on the New England Patriots?
Quickly, because we have a minute.
So Christian Gonzalez they had in the first round.
Yeah. Marte Mapu is fucking fantastic pick.
Yeah.
I really like the Marte Mapu pick.
Yeah.
We'll just go through and just like, if there's something that you like, then just point it out. But that's really it from them. The Saints, Isaiah Foskey. It's a good pick. They needed it because we took Davenport from them, so they needed an edge rusher. So I like that.
Yeah, I didn't mind the Saints.
The Giants were solid. Deonte Banks at 24 is crazy.
Yeah, and Jalen Hyatt at
73. Like that's a pick that the Colts should have just taken in the second round. Like that should have been the Colts' second round pick.
He went 6 picks before.
Yeah. It's just
they got that
that's just. I mean, at 73, that's nuts.
That's the fact that he slid that far.
Yeah. But you know why he slid that far? Because he didn't play in an NFL style offense in college. The Eagles, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, first round picks. Keely Ringo at 105 is crazy to me. So I mean, those 3 picks alone are great. Joey Porter Jr. to the Steelers at 32, solid, like it.
Yeah. By the way, I the team I had though that I personally thought had the best draft overall, and it's probably just because they didn't need a lot to help, but they still got a lot to help. I think was the Eagles, unfortunately. But
honestly, I have outside.
I think it's because they needed less to help, right? Like they need less from it.
But they didn't address. They didn't really address their running back spot. Oh, I guess they did. They did. Wait, no. Well, I lie. They did trade for DeAndre Swift.
They did.
But I also am not a believer in DeAndre Swift. So, because if I was
I mean, their backfield was now Boston Scott and
DeAndre Swift. Yeah,
I mean, behind that O line though too, it could be one of those things where it doesn't really matter too much on who they have behind there, you know.
The winner of the draft is the Niners. They took Jake Moody, a kicker, in the fucking second round or third round. And you're taking a kicker in the third round. Sounds like our fucking fantasy league. I think Seattle had a really good draft. Devon Witherspoon, Jackson Smith-Njigba. That offense is gonna be nasty.
That is true. Yeah, Seattle had a very, very,
very good draft.
And even honestly, getting Kenny McIntosh in the 7th round,
dude,
I think it's
Zach Charbonnet is a great pick at 52. That's crazy.
Yeah. For a team that didn't need as much help at the running back, I mean, I think they found a couple of studs.
I'm gonna give the Titans a really good draft grade as well. Will Levis at 33 is crazy. He should never have slid out of the first round.
Yeah, and you get the O-line help too.
Right. Unless there's some kind of character issue, Will Levis should never have fallen that far.
Yeah, honestly, that's the only thing that makes sense to me on why he fell out of the.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know about you, but like I even the video of him when he got drafted, just whatever reason, just rubbed me the wrong way.
He didn't look very happy.
like it. I don't want to like paint a picture for the guy, you know, before I really know about him.
Right.
It screamed to me, preppy rich kid that got whatever he.
I think it was more of he set an expectation of himself, and that expectation didn't hold up, and then he's pissed, which is good for the Titans because that dude comes out with a fucking chip on his shoulder. I mean, it could be nasty. Yeah. I mean, it could be a very bad thing for the rest of the AFC South. But they need to get wide receiver help first because they have nobody.
That is true. Yeah, and I don't think Colton Dow, is the answer for them. So.
Nope. All right, well, I think that's it. I looked through the rest. There's really not a whole lot.
Yeah. The Commander didn't do much.
Yeah, not a lot of people did much.
Yeah. So who do you think had the best draft?
It's hard to tell because like I think it's a mix between who do I think got the best amount of help for their team,
right? But
then there's like who addressed the most needs, who got the best value. Right. I mean, because at the end of the day, like
I think there was a lot of fantastic value in this draft. Though a lot of guys, I think this might be a really hard draft to predict as far as what everybody's going to do.
If I had to go top 3 drafts based on how they address their needs, and then I won't go amount of picks because that's not fair. Because some teams had less picks.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I mean, unless we're gonna talk about like, oh well, this person traded this pick because and this for this player, or you know what I mean. Like, so I think, in no particular order, the Eagles draft was solid. I think it was very, very good. The Vikings draft was great. As a Viking fan, I'm pleased. I'm very happy with what Kwesi did.
Mm-hmm. Which at the end of the day is the most important thing, obviously.
Right, which the biggest thing is like with the Vikings, we didn't have a second round pick, right? So we didn't pick until the end of the third round because we traded back. But our second round pick is TJ Hawkinson. If we re-sign TJ Hawkinson after this year, if we re-sign him, it's a win. So we win that trade, I'm happy. So I think the Vikings had a really good draft. I think it was solid. I think the Bears draft was solid. I don't think that you could have asked for a better draft from Chicago, just because they addressed their biggest need first, and then they just kind of got quantity, and sometimes quantity turns into quality.
There's more of a chance, obviously, of finding that diamond in the rough.
Right. So I like the Bears draft. The Colts was solid. I won't say that it wasn't, but I think Detroit, I think just outside of the Jahmyr Gibbs pick, I think Detroit's picks were addressing needs, especially with the tight end linebacker picks, even though they're Hawkeyes and they're, obviously.
Something about Seattle's, though, that just...
Seattle's is good. I don't know that I put them at the best because I don't know that you need to go get 2 running backs, because you have Kenneth Walker.
Right.
And he's young. So unless there's something big happening with that they know that we don't know.
Right.
I don't foresee the reason to give up another position of need to take a running back when you don't need that running back. So outside of that, that receiving core is ridiculous. Jackson Smith-Njigba, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Geno Smith. I think personally Geno is not the answer, but Geno played well last year. It would be unfair to be like, oh well, he's not good. It'd be unfair because it's like the NFL's a what
career, ironic.
Right, the NFL's a what have you done for me lately, and what he's done for them lately is great. So I think that offense will be very good. That defense lackluster. So I think Seattle's was good. I don't know that I'd even put them top 5 because I do think the Vikings, Eagles, Bears, Lions, Colts all had better drafts as far as like addressing their needs. Even if Josh Downs is not going to be a starter, which I don't think that he will be, I still think that it's important to competition.
Mm-hmm.
More or less. So, overall, those are the 5 that I would say had the best drafts, but what do I know? I'm just a Walmart associate that likes sports.
That is true.
So, but anyway. All right, dude, I'm going to go in and see my kid. I worked an 11 to 8 yesterday and then back at 7 this morning, so.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
It's fucking awful. So I'm going to hop off here and go and hang out with him for a little bit. And then
fair enough. So, so if you guys enjoyed this episode of DM Sports Talk live here,
make sure you hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, hit the like button.
Turn on those post notifications.
Yeah. And
we'll catch y'all next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Hopefully Justin will be here. It would be great if Justin was here. So